What up? It's Jomboy and Jake Radio. It's 2000s punk rock episode week. So this is Taking Back Sunday. You're so last summer. And this is my favorite line coming up right here, Jake. Woo! So emo, you could slit my throat, and with my one last dying breath, I'd apologize for bleeding on your shirt. Do you think when the lead singer of Taking Back Sunday wrote that lyric and like presented it to the band members, they were like, "Whoa, dude, the fuck did you just write?"
They were like, "That's so money."
Yeah, like I feel that. I feel that.
For the time, that was like, whoa.
Early 2000s. It doesn't get a little more emotional than that.
Are you a big TBS guy?
Not really. I mean, I know all their songs, but I never. I liked like 2000 punk rock. Obviously, I loved it, but I never was a big TBS guy. I like Brand New more, and they were like a riff. But I know Evan of Evan Info was a big TBS guy.
Yeah, big. And I don't know. I feel like I just missed the whole thing. I think I was just too jovial and listening to pop music that I just missed out.
Do you know that song? I mean, you know that song.
Like I know like of it. I couldn't sing like anything to it.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So
that's what I'm saying. I missed that like whole thing kind of.
Because I don't think I ever put this song on myself, TBS, but I know like I can sing along to it.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm not there.
Well, they're from Long Island, you know. Long Island. Emo band come out of Long Island is pretty funny. I feel like that's a place full of people afraid to be in touch with their emotions, and then you have a dude saying, "What?"
Jeez.
Well, the stereotype.
Just attacking Long Island off the rip.
The stereotype. And then you have this guy saying, "You're a touch overrated. You're lush and I hate it. But these grass stains on my knees, they don't mean a thing." Because he's going to beg for her.
Like, I know that you're a touch overrated lyric just from, like, AIM away messages. But, like, yeah, like, I never sat down and listened to that song or really even heard it on the radio wherever I would be hanging out.
When I broke up with Jackie, sophomore year of high school, she made her MySpace or her AIM away message, "Boys like you are a dime a dozen. Boys like you are a dime a dozen. You're a touch overrated. You're lush and I hate it."
Bingo. And she was right.
Yeah, she probably was right.
She probably was right.
And with my one last gasping breath, I'd apologize. Praise for bleeding on your shirt. Hey, did you just slit my throat? Oh, sorry, I got some blood on you.
I'm sorry, I'm bleeding on your shirt.
My bad. 2000s punk rock's weird time in history. We're already a little removed that it's like a thing, but I feel like it's so niche. In 2040, when I'm showing my kids like, "Oh yeah, and this was music we liked," it's going to be like odder than true disco. It's like, what is this?
2040.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. How'd your weekend go, Jake?
How did my weekend go?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to lay a lot on you.
Yeah, it's heavy. No, it was good, man. Watched a lot of the foosball. As you know, I met up with former roommate Jeff. We put some drinks down. We really did that like over the hill drinking. Just went over his place. He invited me over to watch the second half of the Cowboys-Rams game. I was like, "Yeah, Jeff, sure, that sounds great." And I walked in there, and he was watching the game on his phone. So I was like, okay.
I heard you tell that story on Talking Knicks. It cracked me up. It's so mean to invite someone over to watch the game, and you're watching on a 3-inch screen on the kitchen table. Like, what the fuck?
He gave a very innocent face of kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is the situation at hand. And I was like, that's fine, I get it. I mean, luckily, I mean, it was Rams Cowboys. I wasn't too personally vested in the game, and at that time, I was watching UConn in overtime on my cell phone. So we basically had two cell phone games rolling at the same time on Saturday night, and then we went out to gym again. I know this is right in your wheelhouse, but we were like, all right, let's go out. And our options on a Saturday night are the Ogden Street Tavern, which is close to me. A dive, like, needs a full bar rescue. Like, just needs it. Like, Taffer would ruin that place instantly. But they do karaoke on Friday and Saturday, so sometimes we end up there. So I assume that's where we're going. But I walked in and I was like, Jeff, what you thinking? Like, what what? How do you want your night to go? That's one of my favorite phrases to say. It's a control your own destiny thing. And then it's like, well, what about we could head over to Broadway tonight? And I was like, okay. Like Broadway's a little more active. There's a good amount of bars and restaurants over there. I was like, yeah, where are you thinking on Broadway? There's a cool new spot called Canopy. I was like, maybe we'll poke our heads in there. And he's like, man, I'm kind of thinking Sobo. And what you don't know, right?
South of Bobo.
Well, South Broadway. So it should be So Bro, but they want to keep the bros out.
Bros and Broadway have never mixed.
Sobo is your local Czech Republic bar. There's a giant mural of Prague.
Oh, that's right across his alley. We used to play hockey with the Czech Republics every night, every Saturday night.
Oh, he's so at home there, and I enjoy it too. I mean, it's cheap drinks. There's like a back area that's pool tables and like, probably low key criminals hanging out there if you want to get involved in that. There was a little karaoke scene going there, but it was very cliquey.
Was it like Czech Republic karaoke?
Kind of. You had to be in the know. Like there's a couple people that weren't in the crew running karaoke that went up to sing, and they were like, oh, this is their first time singing here, so. And it was like, whoa. Like, geez, turn down.
Hold on, before you move on. I've got a little Czech Republic. This is their top song right now, according to YouTube.
Okay.
Someone was singing this?
No, I mean, they were singing American songs.
Music videos, a girl with a nice butt putting stickers all around Czech Republic. So it seems nice.
I'm into that. But yeah, I mean, it was a classic. I mean, we didn't talk to another soul while we were there. Our favorite activity while we're there is there's this like tough, big Czech dude, like 6'4", 6'5", filled out. He's either the owner. I think he's the owner. I think that's been stated. But he's this tough guy. Doesn't have the friendliest look to him. Whatever. And then there's his brother, who's clearly involved in the bar but not doing anything, and just has this long, crazy hair, like silly facial hair. He was wearing a Colorado Avalanche jersey with the bar's name on it. So in the name it said Sobo, and for the number it was 151. And that's the name of the bar. And dude, he's just a comedy show. Like he just walks around like he owns the place, but clearly not that much involved. He like hopped into the kitchen 3 times and kept coming out with handfuls of French fries. Like the guy was entertainment in itself if you knew what was going on. He'd come up to us once before previously, and because like we were the only 2 guys there, and he's like, "You guys will take shots with me, right?" Like, yeah, I guess so. So that's what he does. So that's
a tough life when you're going up to the newcomers at the bar. You'll take shots with me, right?
Oh yeah, he definitely had his run where he was like the fun brother. The bar would be bumping. He'd be the cool guy that would get the shots out, and then he'd flirt with the girls. And now he's like, he's fallen warrior at this point. But he's still putting up the good fight. So that was it. A lot of football. Took down the tree. It's time. And that's about it. What about yourself?
Kraus tell you about when we used to play hockey with the Czech Republic guys? Have I told you about that?
I feel like you mentioned it briefly, but I don't remember anything. So
when we were like 16, 17, to stay in shape in the off season, we go to the pickup games with the adults. And they kind of hated us because we were young and had a ton of energy.
right.
But the Saturday night pickup game in Dublin, California, at the Iceland Park, it was like $17, which is pretty expensive for one pickup game, or was back in 2006. And it was always a bunch of Czech Republic guys versus the other guys. But when we were 16, like we didn't have part of either crew, so they would just throw you with whatever side needed more guys.
Right.
And if you got put on the Czech Republic side, you basically paid $17 to skate back and forth because they wouldn't pass to you because you weren't Czech. They'd make you play defense because they wanted to score. And then their main Czech dude, Kraus would remember his name because his son was like in the AHL. He would play goalie, and this is what I've told you. He would play goalie, but then he was a skater, but he would suit up if we needed a goalie. But then he'd stop the puck, and then he'd like NHL blitz, like he'd just skate up the whole ice as a goalie with a puck trying to score. It was like, this sucks, man. This is the worst. And they'd just get so drunk before the game and then after the game in the parking lot. It was like, really hope I'm not on the fucking Czech side.
Sorry.
But I think Kraus loved it.
Oh, yeah. Didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it. My weekend was good.
We had a fun talk because, dude, there's this giant mural of Prague. And we were talking about, like, do we think there's bars anywhere in the world that have, like, I don't know, a giant mural of Denver skyline?
Yes.
Like, where, though? Like, in Prague?
Oh, you mean not in Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to find, like, a Denver bar in another country, which I mean, there's New York and Chicago, like, big cities for sure. I don't think comparing Prague and Denver is fair.
That's the thing. I mean, if I told you to list off European cities, I mean, I think you'd list off a lot before you get to Prague. Not a shot at Prague. It's beautiful.
Yes, but you got to think of it like if people from the Czech establish a bar in America, they're going to put up their biggest city. If people in America establish a bar in another country, they're going to put up one of their bigger cities, which isn't Denver.
Okay, interesting. So the Czech angle's stronger there. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I guess instead of considering it Europe and the United States, if you consider it country by country, yeah, that does make more sense.
Nice. Glad I helped you out.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Your weekend, Jim.
My weekend, I did nothing. Which was good. Saturday, I think I just sat around and did some work all day, watched the sports, had some dinner with my family, watched the Cowboys game with my dad, did a lot of reading for Last from the Past. That was nice. That was fun. Sunday, woke up, snowstorm. Not really a snowstorm. We had 2 inches on the island. Bought a shoveled for like 3 hours. Good day. Sat around, made tomato soup with grilled cheese because this is a nice snow day meal. Edited, recorded Talking Yanks, did some work. Good weekend. Did nothing.
Nice, man.
Yeah. Now the snow's gone. We're supposed to get more snow next weekend again, so I'm excited about that.
Excited. Katie got to see the snow.
Yeah. Katie liked the snow, but it wasn't like a good snowstorm. It's all gone already.
Right. That's island life.
Island life, yeah. Every now and then there'll be one. One time my grandma had to climb out the window because she got snowed in on the island. Hoping for that.
Why'd she have to climb out the window, though?
Because she got snowed in. She couldn't open the door. Like it was like she wasn't strong enough to push the door past the snow.
Okay, so the window was higher than the snow. Got it.
Yeah, window was higher than the door. If you had a window as low as the door, I think that would be called a doggy door.
I mean, I could see some different layouts, but yeah, I get it.
Okay, let's go into sports. The Knicks lost to someone on Friday night, 121-106. They are bad. They are the second worst record in the league. I think that's what Knicks fans want, but it hurts to want that. The Rangers beat the Islanders 2-1 on Saturday. They then lost to the Blue Jackets 7-1 on Sunday. The Devils beat the Flyers. The Yankees signed infielder DJ LeMahieu, which has sent Yankee fans into a bit of a state of confusion, wondering what's going on. Monmouth beat Manhattan 65-49. St. John's lost to DePaul 79-71. Is the magic over, Jake? That's 3 losses in their last 5 games. Nothing to brag about there, Albert. UConn lost to Cincinnati. They are now 1-3 in conference play and looking rather hopeless in the standings. CCSU beat St. Mary's 77-68. So pull that safety bar down and hold on to your hats because the roller coaster ride is just getting started. That's 2 in a row, baby.
Nice.
Tri-state update complete. Not a lot of good. Not a lot of good going on in Tri-State right now.
Central Connecticut State Blue Devils.
Oh yeah, beat those losers at Mount St. Mary.
Yeah. 2 in a row. They got They got 2 home games coming up. St. Francis of PA and Robert Morris. I mean, I don't know. I just think we're about to get hot. I guess I'll keep it college basketball. I'll start with.
Wait, hold on. Robert Morris has to be the lamest school that's just straight up named after a dude.
There's a few of those in the Northeast, like Franklin Pierce.
Yeah, how many are there? Because I'd like to.
I think there's more than you think. I think our current Robert Morris fans are pretty mad at you.
No, I think Robert Morris has got to be. I mean, find me one that's more like just like what sounding than Robert Morris.
I mean, I think Franklin Pierce is right up there. I just said that.
Franklin is a name of power.
The Turtle, man. People think of the Turtle.
I don't even know the Turtle. I never watched that. But Franklin, I think Benjamin Franklin. I think Franklin's. I think money. I think power. Brett said Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts is up there. That's Tulsa. Shout out.
Yeah, that's pretty bad too.
I think there's a lot of those. I think you owe I think you're right. I don't think Robert Morris is an exciting name, but to throw it number 1 on the board instantly like that.
Well, it's the number 1 I can think of. I need to think of more and then rework it. If you got others, throw them my way. Oral Roberts, at least Oral is like a weird name these days that it's like makes you think. Robert Morris just sounds like your friend who comes over and eats too many of your snacks and you don't even really like him.
Sounds like you just hate some guy named Robert.
No, because Oral Roberts, I like that.
Well, you said you don't love it. You said you're putting it up there as the worst names ever. So yeah, and you've just flown past Franklin Pierce. You're calling that a powerful name.
Yeah, I like.
You've got some Robert issues. Which, if you have any friends named Rob, maybe you need to address that with them.
No, I like the name Robert because it's got a lot of nicknames. Rob, Bob, Robbie, Bobby. But I don't like Robert Morris as a school name. I think it's lame. Throw all the school names that are just straight up after a dude at my way, and I'll make my power rankings.
What's the I was gonna say Salve Regina. I don't know what that is, but it still kind of flows well.
Someone sent Salvatore just sent Babson College, but that's not a first and last name. That's just one name, Babson.
Yeah,
fine with that. It's got to be first and last name of one dude.
Babson.
And then everyone's asking for him now. I'll go research it. I'll put together my power rankings.
We'll do the research on it. I guess college basketball, while we're still there, I can touch upon it. The Albert's favorite team, St. John's. I mean, this is what I was trying to warn people was coming with St. John's. They just hadn't played anyone. I'm not trying to be mean about them, but
I think you're being so mean.
Their schedule was so light, and now they're playing some real teams, and they're starting to face it. Luckily, they play in the new Big East, so they're playing some good teams. So if they, I don't know, if they keep it up, they're looking. I think they're going to be a bubble team, Jim.
Hold on, look at the rest of their schedule right here. So they've lost 3 of their last 5. I'm sorry, Albert, if you're listening, but they got Creighton coming up. I don't know if Creighton's any good this year. Then they have Butler, then Georgetown, then Creighton again, then Duke. So if the next 5 games go the same, they could be looking at like 4-6 in their last 10.
Yeah, and it's
even worse.
It'll be interesting. I mean, Creighton and Butler don't have some of the teams they used to have. Same with Georgetown. But yeah, I mean, it's just these are teams that are kind of on a same level. So you've got some home and road games. It'll depend how those play out. And I mean, Duke. I mean, Duke. That's the kind of win that can almost get you into the NCAA tournament alone. So we'll probably see the Johnnies turn up by then. But yeah, I mean, this is a bubble team that we have now made every Albert ever like. So go St. John.
Yep, Albert and Albert Grazie. Yeah.
And then my UConn, I'm sorry, they are not a bubble team. They've been pretty tough. But they actually their loss might have been their best game they played this season. They fought and they went to overtime against Cincinnati. Some tough calls. But yeah, they won. They beat SMU at home, and then they lost this game to Cincy on the road, which would have got them to even in conference play. They went to overtime. Tough loss. It is what it is. They're full out rebuilding. Their talent level is pretty bad, and that's what this season's been finding out.
Nice. I have an interesting college name for you.
Okay.
Bob Jones University in South Carolina.
Jones.
If you just say someone, where'd you go to school? Bob Jones.
Bob Jones. You just hate basic names. What's up with that?
It just doesn't sound like a college. It just doesn't sound like a school. Like if you said, where'd you go to school? Bob Jones. Like, oh, you went to Bob Jones's house for college?
You're me and my Bob Jones institutions.
Yeah. Bob Jones College is pretty fun. And they're all like what's that word?
Evangeli. Why could you be true?
Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true?
Evangelical?
Yeah, evangelical people. But what's the term for a guy? That's
a guy.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No.
Evangelical is the word, but one guy doesn't.
Brigham Young.
Evangelist.
Carnegie Mellon. Carnegie Mellon's two last names of guys.
Yeah, it needs to be first and last name of one guy. That's the stipulations here.
First colleges with the first and last name of one guy.
We have 4 so far. What was that one?
George Fox.
That's interesting.
Fox is kind of cool. Harvey Mudd.
Oh, that's great.
Hobart and William Smith. So that's brothers there.
A lot of colleges, huh?
There's so many colleges. That's why, I mean, I got offended when you threw Robert Morris just straight under the bus like that.
It's Robert Morris and Bob Jones are fighting it out, but Bob Jones makes me giggle, and Robert Morris doesn't make me giggle. So Robert Morris, still a loser of the losers.
Roberts Wesleyan, Robert Gordon. Yeah, we'll get you in the book. Sarah Lawrence. We'll have you dig a little further. We'll get a power ranking out of you.
Great. Send me all in.
Agnes Scott. Woo.
Agnes Scott. That's tough.
I mean, what else do we got here? The Yankees signed LeMahieu. It's a lot of you know we do the Talking Yanks podcast.
We've done like 2 full episodes on it because it's so confusing. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's the Yankees have been talking about mega team, but right now they're just kind of this. They're a really good team with a lot of moving parts. So we'll see how it plays out. If you're into that, go give that a listen.
Let's move on to the national news. That's where everything is.
Yeah, and we recorded a Talking Knicks. So if you're into the Knicks, go check that out. I'm going back to baseball. Baseball question mark for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has to announce today if he'll be going into the NFL draft. It's going to be really interesting. The Joplin A's trying to keep him around. Jimmy, playoff football this weekend will start on Saturday. The Colts just don't bring anything to play Kansas City. Kansas City beats them up 31-13. The Rams, as I told you, I was watching on that big plasma screen. Rams win 30-22 over them Cowboys. Sunday football, the Patriots win at home 41-28. Jakey's lock, free money, 3-0 people, 41-28. Chargers put on a couple cheap ones late. And then the fun game, New Orleans versus Philly. New Orleans holds on 20-14 after being down 14-0, James.
Well, can you tell me about Kyler Murray before we go into football? What's going on here?
So, Kyler Murray, so he gets drafted by Oakland, right? And he gets a $4.6 million signing bonus. Then he goes, and they're like, "Yeah, go play football at Oklahoma for a season. Knock yourself out, kid." He's like, "Oh, thank you very much, Oakland A's." So he does that, goes out, wins the Heisman Trophy. And now, because he's starting to get NFL love, the money equation is kind of thrown off. Like, if you're a first-round pick quarterback, I think you get a guaranteed contract in the tens of millions of dollars if you're anywhere in the first round. So his football money is now outweighing his baseball money. So he's gone back to Oakland and being like, "Hey, if you guys want me to play baseball, you're going to have to sweeten the pot," which Oakland can do, Jim, but they essentially have to give him a major league contract, and they'd have to add him to the 40-man and stuff like that. So Kyler Murray is basically putting in the A's in a position that they'd have to pay him a lot more money than you'd ever pay a first-round baseball pick. You'd have to put him on the 40-man. He could still do minor league stuff, but he'd only have, like, he could only go up and down 3 or 4 times, I believe, and then he'd be, like, you'd have to go through waivers and stuff like that. And it would start his free agency clock. So he is basically full court press on Oakland. And again, like, I know you know Oakland pretty well, but this has turned into a pretty crappy situation for them when they were hoping to get some good PR and some good love. Now they could essentially be making this guy a free agent really early, rush him to get to the major leagues before he's fully developed, and then basically they could lose him earlier if he agrees to do all of this. So I don't know. We're going to find out soon if Kyler declares for the draft. Then I think the baseball stuff is out the window for a little bit.
How good is he at baseball?
So that's the question. He was the 8th pick or whatever it was. He's never, like, fully trained at baseball for a year because he's been half football. So he's got the tools. I mean, he's a really good center field guy, like 5'10", quick, power potential too, and he's just a really good athlete. And they're basically banking on the fact that if he dedicated himself to baseball, that he'd be even better at that than he is now.
It's really interesting because at the quarterback position, we always say baseball is the easier choice, but at the quarterback position, I think football is the easier choice. Quarterbacks hang around forever. They can't really get that hurt anymore. Unless it's a freak injury. Like, it's not like he's going to go take his licks every single day.
Right.
And you're going to get a lot of money right away with football, where if he goes to baseball without these stipulations that he's demanding, if he was to go and just be put in the minor leagues, he could be locked up for 8 years.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, that's like high school age. It would be, I mean, for him, especially because he has multiple options, it would almost be like if he doesn't make the majors in 2 to 3 years, then he'd almost be like, well, it's almost time for me to try football again.
But I'm saying, if he doesn't,
baseball is guaranteed.
If he makes it in 2 years, then he's locked in contract with the A's and not seeing free agency for 8 years. which would put him at.
Oh no, that's this whole contract stuff he's doing.
That's what I'm saying. He's forcing their hands. I'm explaining why he's forcing their hands.
Right. It's not 8 years either. It's 6.
2 in the minors and then 6 in the majors. That's 8 years until he would become a free agent, which would put him at around 30 years old.
Right.
Right. So he's trying to force their hand and become a free agent, be able to become a free agent at like 26, and then he would make huge money. I think this dude should go play quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of crazy. That's where all the signs are pointing. And the thing that's really scary for everyone is the guy is truly 5'9", 5'10", which we never really had any quarterbacks in the league that size. But now with Baker doing well, Drew Brees, they're both 6 foot flat, but they're both stocky. I mean, they're both built. Kyler would have to get that up a little bit. But with all the shotgun and stuff, you can read the offense before the play, and that stuff's not as big as a factor as it used to be, getting the ball out there quickly. So I guess that's kind of what everyone's coming to the consensus to. Like, at this point, if he can be a first-round pick as a quarterback, that is the way to go because the health risk isn't what it used to be. And, I mean, if he's even good, if he's an average quarterback, I mean, look at all the guys we talked about, Stafford, all these guys get $20 million per year, and teams are scared to get rid of them because it's so hard to find a quarterback. So they're saying now that the safer money is football. I mean, the bigger thing for Kyler Murray has to be, I mean, which one do you want to do, dude? Because you can't do both as a quarterback. I'm sorry. We did the whole Deion thing and Bo Jackson.
No, as a quarterback, you can't.
If it was running back or cornerback, you could do that. But quarterback, you're the face of the franchise. You have to be OTAs in every practice and doing that. The other positions, you could almost get around that a little bit. But yeah, dude, it's got to be what you love because I mean you're playing these physical sports where you put your body through hell and you have to be invested in it. So I don't know. I think we're gonna find out soon. But it's pretty wild. And if he does love baseball and he gets the A's to give into their terms. I don't know. It's just with the whole free agency situation in baseball, Kyler Murray could end up getting one of the biggest free agent contracts, and he's never played any Major League Baseball. They were talking about Shohei Ohtani, how he came out last year. He's making amateur minimum or the minimum salary, $500K. He's got to be like, what the hell? Like, I was a premier player overseas in Premier Major League Baseball, teams would have rolled the red carpet out for me. So the whole situation is pretty wild.
Yeah, I read that the Oakland had to get clearance from the MLB to even be able to pay him that.
So they're trying to find some loopholes because there's some verbiage in there that's like signing a player to another contract after you've already signed him, and he already signed his draft contract thing. But yeah, so you'll like this, Jim. Major League Baseball is actually actively involved in this process because they want to say they got Kyler Murray to play baseball instead of join the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like it's weird to think about, but from the MLB's front office, these decisions they probably put a lot more weight into them than the average fan because they get to kind of say, like, we have premier athletes play in our league over that league.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's baseball that's been kind of terrible at marketing their players and some of that stuff. Yeah, they're like it's the Oakland A's, the MLB, and Kyler Murray's people all in a room yesterday trying to figure out the best way to make this work for everyone, which is, I mean, just straight bizarre for a guy that might not be a good Major League Baseball player.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to see how I like these guinea pig experiments, see how it plays out.
He's fun.
Well, let's go to the foosball. You went 3-4 this week, and I went 2-4 with our picks. Good job, Jake.
Okay. Well, I got the KC wrong game, and I mean, I need to talk to the people a little bit about this, Jim, because I've been saying that I thought the Chiefs defense is suspect and they were going to get exposed. And I think this was the game to do it. And the Colts just came out and looked so bad.
They hold them to one touchdown, right? Like one offensive touchdown?
Yeah, did you watch the Colts game towards the end? There was a terrible drop that wouldn't have really impacted the game, but like literally wide open guy in the end zone, ball just clunked off his hands. Mattered for people in Vegas.
Yeah, mattered for the spread, right?
Yeah, not the traditional game spread, but if you did teasers or if you did any of that stuff, I think you'd like teasers, Jim. We'll see if we get there.
No, it's too involved. It was if you had the Colts plus 12, then that touchdown would have made it an 11-score game. But he dropped it right in his hands.
Which, yeah, was the teaser if you had the 6 points. But, yeah, the KC looked really good, and they have looked really good.
Dude, they looked really, really good.
Well, their defense looked really good, which was surprising. And let's be honest. I mean, the Colts team that showed up was a Colts team that was not the same. I know a lot of people were saying that the hot streak they went on, they hadn't played a lot of good teams, and that's fair to a degree. But also, I mean, it's the NFL, and you got to go win games. And the Colts defense had looked good, but yeah, KC had a good plan. They dominated.
The second touchdown run by Hill, is it?
Yeah.
He just zigs and zagged through everyone. Like, no one put a hand on him. It was so weird. The Colts defensive guys were just not in any position to make a tackle, and he scored. I mean, he started from the 15. No, he started from the 45.
Yeah.
It's like a 40-yard run, and he just looped through everyone like it was a parting of the sea.
Yeah, and that's a mix of, I'd say, the Colts effort, and I mean Tyreek Hill is one of the like 4 or 5 guys in the league that you see that's like faster than everyone, which is cool. But I mean, just watch that play. It looks like the Colts look like they're playing bad high school football. Like there's guys in the area, they're just not doing anything. So I don't know. The Colts are going to be everyone's team next year, Jim, because we saw Luck be healthy this year and be good, and everyone likes Frank Reich, and they've got a ton of draft picks. So I'm just FYI, the Colts are going to be everyone's like sleeper favorite next year.
Nice. Colts, yeah. Did you see the snowball situation? I like that.
I saw a couple snowballs coming in. I mean, I got excited for the snow game. They had a couple good camera angles, and then during the game, there was nothing.
I had a thought, and if you tweet it out, people don't hear it the way you're saying it, and you just sound like a loser, so I didn't tweet it out. But I wanted to say, like, it's truly bizarre how much the human brain, or men in America, like, just because there's a little bit of snow, it was like rubbing your palms together, giddy, like, oh, we got snow playoff football. Like, it was like another level of excitement. And then it really didn't turn out to be a snow game on the field at all.
No, not at all. That's what my girlfriend walked through at one point, because I told her, and she got excited. I was like, yeah, there's going to be a snow game today. She's like, oh, that's cool. And she came and she looked, and she's like, wait, this is the snow game? Yeah. And I was like, I'm sorry.
You were lied to, too.
Yeah. So that was what it was. And then the Rams-Dallas nightcapper, which I think after KC Indy, I mean, it kind of played out. A lot of people would expect that Kansas City would win that game.
Rams-Cowboys was boring.
Yeah, it kind of was a boring game. And it was interesting coming in because there was going to be more Cowboy fans there. The Rams had like the worst rushing defense in the league. And the Cowboys run the ball. So, like, you could start talking it up in your head. You're like, okay, I mean, if Dallas gets rolling with Zeke, this could be the Cowboys team that finally gets that fan base excited. Yeah, it was kind of a dull game. The Rams don't look like the same team that they were to start the season. Goff didn't have any throwing touchdowns. The coolest part for me was my old buddy C.J. Anderson, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
23 carries, 123, 2 touchdowns, and looking fat.
Little bowling ball, for real.
Looking thick.
Short and thick. He's our kind of guy.
He looks like Mike.
What's he listed at?
Ooh, that's a fun game.
And what do you think what do you think CJ stands for? If you get one of the first names for CJ Anderson, I'll give you one of my Burger King cups.
I mean, I wish I did know. He was a Bronco for a long time. Carl Joseph.
No, 0 for 2. Cortrell Javon.
Okay.
So you blew it.
I blew it. He's listed at 5'8", 225, which could be kind of accurate. I think he's beefed up a little from there. They showed a picture of him next to Jerome Bettis, who's like the all-time big guy running back, and they looked pretty similar. But yeah,
he's from Vallejo,
which was the theme of the weekend.
He's from Vallejo, which is where CC Sabathia is from. So hey,
Vallejo,
Bay Area, Bay Area.
Yeah, and his story is kind of cool. The Broncos didn't re-sign him after he had a bunch of good seasons, which happens with the running backs. And then he went to Carolina. They cut him. Oakland picked him up, and they cut him before he even played. And then he ends up on the Rams, and he helped win a playoff game. So that's nice.
That's nice. That's nice. Patriots blew out the Chargers. If anyone didn't think that was going to happen, I honestly, listen, I don't know if I can do this because I've been wrong about a ton of games. But if you thought the Chargers were going to go to Foxborough and beat the Pats,
yeah,
I think you're dumb. I'm sorry, Jeff Papson, my old neighbor and my old best friend, because he was tweeting at us that he went against us. He had the Chargers. I don't think you're dumb, Jeff. I just think you were acting dumb in the moment. People are getting caught up. The Pats might not be good. The Chargers and Phillip Rivers were not going to beat them.
Right. People were falling in love with the Chargers roster. They were talking about how good the defense was and the offense is dynamic. And you're right, Jim. You lose some side of logic where you have to go into this saying Phillip Rivers has never beat Tom Brady. He's now 0-8 against Tom Brady and the Patriots. It's in New England. They're off a bye week. They're one of the best sports dynasties to ever do it. Like, be on the wrong side of history if that's how it's going to happen. If Phillip Rivers grits it out and this Chargers team really is special and they take it down, be okay that you didn't predict it and see that coming. Like, be okay that you bet the Pats -4 and you're undefeated with me and making bets. If the Chargers did it, just be like, hey, claps for the Chargers. Phillip Rivers did it. They're now the team of destiny. But before that game, to think that they were going to do it's insanity.
You know what was my least favorite thing about this game?
Sure. Tony
Romo calling Phillip Rivers Phillip the entire time. I texted you that. Yeah. This is annoying the hell out of me. Even Ryan Ruka, our buddy, says like the hardest thing about calling CC Sabathia games is calling him Sabathia because he calls him CC. But you have to keep that level of like, because it was like Tony was talking about his friend. He's like, oh, Phillip doesn't deserve this. You know, we just really got to tip our hat to a great season by Phillip. Shut up, Tony Romo. They're losing. It's embarrassing. Phillip Rivers is throwing temper tantrums, which I was actually okay with. I've come around on Phillip Rivers. I used to hate his guts. And now I've come to respect him. That's the thing with like Puig and Phillip Rivers and those guys. Your antics make me dislike you for like 1 or 2 years, but if you do them for 10 years straight, I'm like, okay, dude, that's you. Do you?
Yeah, I've done a full reversal on Phillip Rivers. I think it's now hilarious that he know what it was? People would make like the Phillip Rivers Eli argument and all that stuff, and even Phillip Rivers Big Ben, because they're all in the same bucket. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm sorry, like Phillip Rivers is really good, and he's done some good stuff. They're gonna end up throwing him all in the Hall of Fame. And now I love his fire and passion because it's like you're clearly over the hill. Who knows when your last rodeo is at this point. But like if you're a Phillip Rivers supporter, how many good teams has he had that haven't done anything at all? But you're absolutely right. I used to hate Phillip Rivers. I'd be like, dude, he's a hardo. Like the stuff.
He was in my top 3 back in the day. It was Valverde, Papelbon, and Phillip Rivers were my top 3 most hated athletes. Papelbon never came out of the bad graces. Valverde disappeared, but Phillip Rivers I now like because it's just what I said. Like, oh, that's just who he is.
Yeah, it's kind of it's borderline nut job, which we like.
When he was younger, it looked like, this is a show. He's putting on a show. He's just like, he's immature. And it was like, nah, just who he is.
Yeah.
Dude's a fucking nut job.
Yeah. Good for Phil. And then, I mean, yeah, that game was over before it started. The Philly New Orleans game, man, our buddy Big Cat tweeted out the best way was, it was a good game. It was a fun game. New Orleans is rocking. I think it is definitely the best home field in the NFL. But it felt like we were robbed of what was going to be an all-time ending because of the Alshon Jeffrey drop, which is a little unfair. But it's true. Like, I didn't even realize, because after the roughing the passer, I didn't realize how far down the field they were. Like, they were there.
Yeah. Yeah, this game did nothing for me. I was expecting a lot more. I mean, it was 14-0 and then 20 unanswered. And that's correct. That last drive would have been insane. But, yeah, so the moment it was intercepted, I was really disappointed. Not because I wanted the Eagles to win. I would have liked them to lose. But that just was a shitty way to end that game. It was like, nothing.
Right. And you kind of described it great there too, Jim, because the game wasn't pretty and wasn't that fun, to be honest. And then, like, the end of the game was the chance to make it like this crazy event, but it ended kind of sloppily too. I will say, man, it's insane. With that missed field goal by New Orleans, Philly had the ball with a chance to win at New Orleans with the Nick Foles show going on, and I was just like, this is insane. If he won that one, I mean, when does it stop? It doesn't.
Yeah, it's true. I'm going to call it. Whew. I haven't had your video this entire time since the
I see you. Don't see me, though.
Yeah, it must be. I don't know if you clicked a browser that has taken over your video or anything, but it'd be nice to get it back for Instagram clips and that. We got a lot of new followers over the weekend, so I don't know if you can toggle anything, but it's okay if you can't.
Took my video? I don't think so.
Maybe there's a browser that's hacked and now someone else is watching you instead of me being able to watch you.
I mean, that could happen at any time, and I wouldn't be shocked if there's people trying to check this out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Riley.
If we can't fix it, that's fine.
That's fine.
I'll just put a picture of you shirtless for all the Instagram videos.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Also fine.
Also fine. Anything for halftime? Nothing?
I don't think so. Sports heavy show. You guys got to know this on a Monday, especially after a big football weekend. That's going to happen. But yeah.
Yeah. We have, we're at 50 minutes. Do we do the real news, a voicemail, and Jake's Bet of the Day and make it a little bit of a longer show on this Monday? Or do we skip the real news, just do the voicemail and Jake's Bet of the Day?
I think we come back to the real news tomorrow. We let that manifest, because that normally leads to a good real news day.
It's true. Okay, well, here we go. We have a voicemail. I just have to pull it up real quick. And, oh boy, Jimmy. Didn't have this prepared, even though I knew I was going to do it. So that's something stupid. You know what we can talk about, though, while I set this up? Are you interested in, I know you watch Game of Thrones, so did you watch the trailer? That's heavy news on the internet right now. And then also True Detective Season 3 started. Are you a True Detective guy? Hit me with those real quick.
So I am a Throner. You know this. I haven't watched the new preview. So I'm excited to do that like right after this. What I am excited about, Jim, is that April 14th is going to be Great Sports Day. Because there's going to be a Yankees game, which you and I will be watching. B, it's the final day of the Masters. So that's awesome. That's like one of the best days in golf. And then that's going to lead right into Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so but I have bad news for you there.
What's that?
That's got to be a record day for us.
Oh, it's going to be a record day, but if it's an afternoon game, I mean, we'd be recording probably during the end of the Masters.
Okay, yeah. So April 14th, White Sox 105. So we'll record at around 4:30 to 5:30, hit the end of the Masters. It's perfect. It's a perfect day.
See?
There you go. I was just checking. I didn't want you to get let down.
Try to bad news me.
I just didn't want you to get let down.
Morris sometimes.
So you're not a True Detective guy? Did you even watch episode 1 of True Detective?
I'm not, man. I haven't watched any of the True Detectives.
I can't believe you haven't watched season 1 of True Detective with McConaughey and Woody Harrelson doing their thing.
And I'm sure I would love it. I feel kind of like a casserole for not having watched it.
Yeah, True Detective season 1 is one of the best standalone seasons of television, and then True Detective season 2 was so convoluted and not good. But this one looks really good. I'm actually got to watch it today because I'm recording a Six Pack Cinema. We're gonna try and do it. If all three of us like it, then we're gonna do Six Pack Cinema for it, which I'm excited about. I can't seem to find this voicemail I had, which is pissing me off. Someone called in, and I would love to play his voicemail so we can get his voice on the show and shit. But we had so many voicemails for Talking Yanks that I can't seem to find it, and I did a bad job. Anyway, someone called in and basically was asking about our history because they say they listen every day, but they must have started afterwards because they don't know how we met, why I've lived so many places. So I thought there might be a couple other new people around. And do you want to tell your version of that?
Oh, okay. I can do that. I would say a long, long time ago, a boy and a gal. No, James and I met, and Jimmy always tries to spin this off in a different matter because it's from his perspective, and I don't care about his perspective. But
That's
Jimmy
why I was letting you do it.
moved to our town, Middlebury, Southbury, Connecticut. Shout out. And it was freshman year of high school. So everyone just assumed he went to the other high school.
It was terrible.
And but that's the time when everyone's being the most friendly to people they don't. That's the first time in kids' life they're kind of being friendly to people for the first time. Because like growing up in middle school, you almost get that pride, like, oh, I don't care about the other kids from in the new middle school. Like, you guys are my buddies for life. At high school, your hormones start kicking in, and you're like, yo, dude, we're going to join the new high school. There's going to be a new batch of girls there. They're going to be hot. They're going to be into us. And we're going to like dominate the sports teams now that we combine the two middle school baseball teams. So Jimmy was there, and everyone's being friendly with him because they just assume he's from the other high school.
That's not true, but okay.
It's how I write the book, though. And then so we end up playing freshman baseball together. And he's I don't know, guy built kind of like me. This is back when you were hot though, so I don't know. We were kind of in different leagues then.
Appreciate you.
But yeah, we were friendly. We hit it off, and then but it was kind of an odd friendship because Jimmy's house from where I lived was an honest 45 minutes away. So
in rural Connecticut.
For us to like do stuff, it was me asking my mom to like commute me like an hour and a half. So we didn't hang out a ton, but I respected the hell out of Jimmy because he'd done a lot of the stuff I hadn't done. He'd moved around a lot. He'd made new groups of friends. I mean, I was kind of a day one crony. And then Jimmy moves away. He comes back. He applies to every school except my college in Connecticut. He ends up going to a college 15 minutes away, University of Hartford, UHart, shout out. Go Hawks. Is that their mascot?
No idea.
Hartford Hawks, maybe. But basically, I went to party with Jimmy once or twice at Hartford, and I was like, okay, this will be fun. And then it was kind of like we were the juniors with freshman level knowledge of the school, so we were just kind of bouncing around looking to do whatever. And then I was like, yo, come party at Central because we know the scene there. And when I say scene, I mean 8 guys drinking in a dorm room, which is Jimmy's scene. And then he was like, oh, it's just fun. And he's like, hey, I might transfer here. And then because Jimmy's gone to a bunch of schools and stuff, more credits and stuff transferred over. So Jimmy was like, yeah, I think I'm going to come to Central. So Jimmy came to Central. We ran the town for a couple years there. We lived in a house in Little New Britain, Polish part of New Britain for a little bit. And then, I don't know, Jimmy's got good video and audio editing skills. He went to school for that for a little bit, and he just likes doing things. And I'm a guy that likes doing things, but I don't like planning things. And now here I am.
Boom. There you go. My corrections would be don't move your kid freshman year, first day of school. Didn't talk to anyone for 3 days until my gym teacher said, is anyone not from the 2 middle schools? And I said, me. And then Leah Zott started talking. He was like, oh. And that was the first time I opened my mouth because everyone just thought I was from the other school. And don't go to University of Hartford because I went there for 1 semester and it's the most what's it called? Student loans out of combined 4.5 years from 3 other schools. It was half amount of 1 semester at University of Hartford. So don't do that. And I had a scholarship to UHart, which is why I went there. What a trap.
Gotcha.
I'm going to play the voicemail at the end of the answer, a little Jeopardy style, just because I found it, and he can hear his voice on the show.
Okay.
What's going on, guys? Mike from the Bronx. Just calling.
It was Mike from the Bronx.
Jomboy Jake Radio. I was pretty curious. I listen to you guys every day. And I kind of want a backstory of your guys' friendship. You know, Jake lives in Denver and Jomboy lives basically everywhere from what I hear. I think it's cool you guys are so close. I just want to know, like, how you guys stay close. Obviously, do, like, the podcast and stuff, but I'm just curious to hear, like, the story of the friendship. Thanks, man. Take care.
All right. So we just Quentin Tarantino'd that bad boy. Answer first, question later. I'm pretty good at staying close with friends because I moved every 2 years of my life. So if I liked someone, I had to stay close. It wasn't really an option. So it was like, okay, I either let that friendship slip or I talk to them every now and then. So that's what happened. There's a bunch of old shit on YouTube of where things I was trying to get Jake to do with me because I just wanted to create funny or interesting or whatever content, and I would force Jake to do it with me. And now we're finally doing it, so that's fun.
Yeah, if you're new and you've got some serious time to kill at work, go check out Grown Losers.
Yeah. Or Get to Know Us.
Yeah, Get to Know Us is pretty wild too. If you see any of a guy that's taller than us with a beard, he plays the mailman in Grown Losers. That's our buddy Nick. He's busy doing real world good stuff, but he's a silly MFer. And enjoy him.
So there you go. There's the backstory. Do you think you could take 12 shots of whiskey in a night? I definitely can. I don't know if you said yes or no there. Broke up.
I said yes. I mean, I still when I still hit the drink, I can still hit it pretty good.
I definitely can. I could do it with ease back then.
Right.
Definitely can more. That's what Get to Know Us was. We'd answer a question from fans, take a shot. By the end, we were 12 shots deep, usually blocked out answering questions. It was silly times.
Bingo.
You ready for Bet of the Day, Jake?
Bet of the day, bet of the day.
Bet of the day, it's the bet of the day. Bet of the day, bet of the day.
The 3-0 man, the 3.5-0 man steps up to the microphone for the bet of the day. What do you got for us on this Monday, Jake? Can he, will he, should he, can he, will he go 4-0?
Wow.
I'm going to start being your hype man.
That song's bitchin'. Has no one said that yet?
Haven't heard it once.
Nobody's been tweeting that in? James.
I'm here.
James. Jomboy. I've got one with my gut and one with my heart. I'm gonna go with my gut here. I'm gonna take.
Make sure it's playing tonight.
They are playing tonight, Monday, January 14th. I am gonna take Kansas. Kansas is -7.5 against Texas. Shaka Smart's Texas. They played a couple games close, but end of the day, They're 10-6 right now. They just played Texas Tech tough, but that was at home. They lost to Oklahoma State. They
what's the line?
So Kansas is favored by 7.5, and I'm taking that. I don't know. Kansas is ranked 7th. I think Kansas is one of the premier teams in college basketball. I think there's a ton of parity. I think there's very few teams on their level. Kansas just had a minor scare at Baylor, who's not that good, so they're coming back home. Texas likes to speed you up. I think Kansas is one of the few teams that can abuse you that way. And I think Kansas comes out big at home, and they run up the score a little bit.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So Kansas is the 7th ranked team right now.
Yep.
And the line is 8.5. Texas just lost to the 8th ranked team, Texas Tech, by 6 points. So there's something.
And that was at Texas.
And this game's at Kansas. 9 p.m. tip-off. Ooh, am I going to agree or disagree with you? You can't go undefeated forever. So do I not even look at the games and just say, got to lose eventually and go against you? Are there any injuries you're not telling me about?
Those hidden injuries? I don't think there's any injuries I'm not telling you about, no.
Let's see. What should I do? Kansas. Now they just beat Baylor by 5.
Right. Kansas has been in a little bit. They got whooped on by Iowa State. So I mean, Kansas is.
They beat TCSU by 9.
Yeah.
They lost to Iowa State by 17.
Yeah, they got whooped on by Iowa State. But I mean, for me, that Iowa State is now ranked. They snuck into the rankings now. I think they bring it. I don't know.
Texas is covering.
Woo!
I'm disagreeing with you, Jake. You got to lose eventually. You can't go 5-0. No one can. So you're out. You lose. Texas covers.
Well, you like losing your money, bet Texas, people.
If you like something else, do something else.
By the way, and I was trying to warn you on Twitter, and I'll make a little warning on here. My friends have been loving this segment because I am a really bad sports gambler. So if you're banking on this as a source of income, just be careful.
I would bet no one takes your bets.
I've been getting DMs, different things, Jimmy. So that's
people are putting money on your bets.
Yes.
Who?
Can't talk about it, man.
That seems
talk about another man's money.
Silly. You're a silly person. You're a silly person. But Jake, maybe if you go 10-0, are you going to start charging? You going to become a tout?
Maybe. I guess so. I guess we started doing this as like a silly fun thing, but I don't know. This might be a new business model for me if I stay hot.
Yeah. So 10-0, and you're going to start charging for the bet of the day segment. We'll put it behind a paywall.
Yes, paywall. Paywall's a fun word. I wish it didn't mean like what it means. Otherwise, I'd say paywall a lot.
Yeah, say payday.
Or maybe I am gonna start saying it a lot, but just for normal things like, I'd love to go get a coffee, but that damn paywall.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that joke.
You mean buy a coffee? Yeah, the paywall.
The counter? You're talking about the wall in which that divides you and her, and you give her money?
You got to try this place out for lunch. I mean, there's a bit of a paywall, but it's good.
I like it. I think that's a good, clean humor, Jake.
Good, clean humor.
GCH. That's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow. Taking Back Sunday. Does that mean they're taking back Sunday from the Lord? Is that what it means? Is it anti the Lord?
I like that. I don't know.
Well, you're so last summer. See you guys.